Whispers of the Deep. A story by Zerpina. It began with a whisper. A faint, almost imperceptible murmur that gnawed at the edges of my consciousness. I am Zerpina Maximoff, a seasoned reporter with a penchant for uncovering truths buried beneath layers of lies and darkness. My recent investigation led me to the quiet, crumbling coast of Arkham, a place shrouded in fog and forgotten by time. An anonymous tip spoke of strange rituals and a cult devoted to some ancient, unspeakable entity, the Cult of Cthulhu. My journey took me to a dilapidated seaside tavern, where an old sailor, eyes sunken and voice hoarse, handed me a small, peculiar amulet. It was crudely fashioned, an irregular black stone pendant with strange symbols etched into its surface. "Keep this," he rasped, "and you'll see what lies beneath the waves." That night, back in my cramped hotel room, I examined the amulet under flickering candlelight. An oppressive feeling seeped into my bones as if the object pulsed with a heartbeat of its own. As I gazed into its depths, visions flooded my mind, vast, unfathomable abysses, tentacled shadows writhing beneath a crimson sky, whispers echoing in a language older than humanity. The first days after acquiring the amulet were relatively normal, at least on the surface. I kept my composure, documenting my findings, writing articles filled with cautious speculation. Yet beneath the veneer of professionalism, a growing unease took root. My dreams grew darker, filled with visions of that eldritch city beneath the waves, and the whispers in my mind grew louder, more insistent. As the week progressed, sleep became elusive. I would lie awake, clutching the amulet, feeling its cold surface press against my palm, the symbols etched into it seeming to shift and crawl. I noticed small things, faint shadows darting just beyond the corner of my vision, strange noises coming from the hallway like distant muffled chants. I dismissed them as stress or exhaustion, but deep down I knew better. My articles began to change. They were no longer coherent reports, but fractured fragments of a mind, unraveling visions disguised as facts, half-formed sentences that hinted at horrors I dared not fully comprehend. I wrote of the cult's ceremonies, horrific rites beneath moonless skies, bodies writhing in unholy ecstasy, voices raised in guttural chants. But the words felt hollow, as if I was merely a conduit for something far worse. Then the madness took hold. I started to hear the whispers not just in my mind, but in the air around me, hissing in a language I couldn't understand but instinctively knew. Shadows stretched and twisted, taking on grotesque forms that defied logic. The amulet grew heavier around my neck, its symbols burning into my skin like scars. One night, I awoke to find the amulet glowing with an unnatural, sickly light. The whispers crescendoed into a deafening roar, and I saw it, an enormous, cyclopean city beneath the waves, with titanic structures carved from black stone, pulsating with the heartbeat of some primordial god. Tentacles countless, writhing, reached upward, yearning for the surface. I realized then that I was no longer merely an observer, but a participant. The cult's influence had seeped into my soul, corrupting my mind, blurring the line between reality and nightmare. I felt my consciousness slipping away, replaced by a hunger, a desire to drown in the abyss, to become one with the terrible, ancient entity I had glimpsed. The visions grew more vivid, more invasive. I saw myself standing amidst the cultists, their faces twisted masks of devotion, their voices chanting in unison, an unholy symphony reverberating through the marrow of my bones. Their words, I understood now, were not meant for human ears but for the slumbering gods beneath the seas. My reflection in the cracked mirror became unrecognizable, eyes sunken, pupils dilated, a pallid, gaunt face marked by dark streaks of dirt and tears. I began to speak in that ancient tongue, unintentionally, as if the words had become part of me. The amulet's symbols burned anew, branding my flesh with a fiery, unrelenting pain. I tried to rid myself of the cursed object, smashing it against the wall, but it refused to break. Instead, I felt it grow warmer, almost alive, as if it fed on my fear. The whispers turned into screams, deafening and relentless. My mind was no longer my own. I was an extension of the abyss, a conduit for some eldritch will. Now I sit here, pen trembling in my hand, haunted by the knowledge that I have become an extension of the very darkness I sought to uncover. The amulet rests on my desk, still warm, still alive. Its symbols shimmer in the dim light, whispering promises of chaos and oblivion, and I see them now, visions of a hellish nightmare, where the very fabric of reality tears apart. The ocean beneath the city has become a churning maw of blackened water, writhing with tentacles and eyes that burn with unholy fire. The sky above is a sickly greenish hue, streaked with jagged lightning, revealing the monstrous silhouette of the ancient god Cthulhu himself, slumbering yet alive, waiting for the stars to align once more. I feel it in my bones, the inevitable awakening. The cult's rites are not dead, they are merely dormant, waiting for the right moment. And I am the toll, the willing sacrifice, the vessel through which their eldritch horror will spill forth into this fragile world. If you find this story, beware, the truth is not meant for mortal minds. Some secrets are better left submerged in the depths, where the stars do not shine, and the abyss gazes back with hunger, hungry for your soul, for chaos, for the end of all things.